You know when you find yourself really invested in some sort of fictional work? The people who love it really love it, but outside the fandom, it just looks strange. A bit like what anime probably looks like to most people who don't like it, or what Star Trek looks like to people who don't care about science fiction. You'll tell them, no, it's a really good show, you should watch it. Some strange or goofy moment will happen, or they'll just happen to catch a season 1 episode of TNG and go, yeah, this is dumb, I'm gonna write it off. That's how I feel about Metal Wolf Chaos. It's a little bit like a B-movie in a way, where everyone who's making it knows what they're making and just proceeds to have as much fun with it as possible. They know they're not making something serious, but they do know that they're making something fun.
Like they were ever invited. They're definitely
Michael! Richard!
Mr. President, it looks like this party is just getting started.
The game is a wild ride, and it's probably a bit like watching WWE. And this is something the developers have said themselves. That's what they were going for. This is a game that's made for Americans, by the Japanese, and then was never released in America for almost over a decade. In fact, probably longer. This game has a very weird and interesting history. Let's take a look. Metal Wolf Chaos was supposed to be released worldwide, but ended up being a Japanese-only title, made exclusively for the OG Xbox. If these numbers are to be believed, you can imagine how well the game actually sold. The game was fully voiced in English. There is no Japanese dub of this game. While it's not wildly common, there are times when Japanese studios won't dub a game in their native language, and choose just to make it in English. They'll just add subtitles for their domestic release. One of the now confirmed rumors for why the game was never released in the West was the climate of post-9/11 politics. For anyone too young to remember 2004, it was the zenith of the war on terror and the politics surrounding it. They felt their game might be interpreted the wrong way and come off as insensitive. The problems also piled on as the game was coming out at the end of the Xbox's life cycle. Microsoft would rather them spend time and money making brand new games for the Xbox 360 rather than waste time importing a game that no one wanted to play. Or so they thought. While the outcome was different, it does remind me of the issues Kojima had with Metal Gear Solid 2. In an interview with IGN, he said, 9/11 took place in 2001, right before the release of Metal Gear Solid 2. We had just sent off the master, but the game featured both World Trade Center and the Pentagon. It seemed impossible for the game to release. I was called to the board of directors, and they all turned pale when I explained the situation. He followed up by saying, as I thought about what to do, I went to speak with Mr. Kazuki about possibly quitting the company. That's when he told me, when this game comes out and society has their say about it, they'll be talking about you, its creator, and me, the person who sold it. I doubt they'll be saying anything about anyone else. What will you do? I'm ready for whatever happens. When I heard how far he was willing to go, I made the firm decision and released it together. The rest is history. It does lead me to think what could have happened if FromSoft had done the same thing and released the game in the West, much like how Kojima did with Metal Gear Solid 2. A high-profile game like Metal Gear Solid 2 came out almost 2 months to the day after 9/11. FromSoft in 2004 would surely fly under the radar, right? Remember, this is FromSoft from 5 years before Demon's Souls came out, a game that forever changed the studio. Right now, this is just the studio that's known for Armored Core and Kingsfield. Games with their own fan bases for sure, and good games at that, but I'm comparing this to 2000s era Konami, when they still had the people's favor on their side. If they could step up to this and not be harmed, surely a company not well known would too, right? Maybe choosing not to shift the game to the West is what led it to become what it is now. It's not just some strange forgotten Xbox game that no one knows about, it's a unicorn. A unicorn that was about to be spotted, and not by an American, or should I say, Americans. Let's fast forward to 2012. Metal Wolf Chaos likely gained the most Western publicity it's seen in its short life. It was featured on the now defunct Machinima channel, by the now disbanded Two Best Friends Play, later known as Super Best Friends Play. Without this video made over a decade ago, who knows what might have been. The original upload is gone, but the numbers of eyes seeing this crazy game for the first time was likely in the tens of thousands. Their follow-up Let's Play of the game a few years later would only add more desire for this white whale. It was set in stone, people knew what this game was now. Little did we know we wouldn't have to wait very long. 2018 was the time. E3 was the place. Devolver was wrapping up their fever dream of a press conference when it finally happened. It was the first time in a long time E3 made my even-tempered heart hyped for anything. First I was floored, then I was in denial, then it started to set in. This is real. This game's actually going to come out here. Fans could finally play the game without navigating Japanese menus. They could finally play it with clear aspect ratios. Metal Wolf Chaos was finally coming here by legitimate means. No one had to sail the seas any longer. And while I don't want to look a gifted horse in the mouth, I do just need to mention that I hate they added this XD to the title. Anytime I see it, I just think of that laughing emoticon from years and years ago. So now that we have the history lesson behind us, what the hell is Metal Wolf Chaos? Metal Wolf Chaos is what happens when you take a dystopian novel and fuse it with Armored Core. The plot of Metal Wolf Chaos is simple. Insane, but simple. The Vice President, Richard Hawke, has overthrown the President and taken over the US. He brands Metal Wolf as a traitor and sicks the military and the media on him. The state-run media runs hit pieces on Metal Wolf after each mission, spinning his actions in a way that make him look like the bad guy. While the events in this game are dreadful, very dreadful, it's focused on as much as how a DM might tell their D&D party that the bad guy is doing really bad things. Would these things in real life be considered war crimes? Yes, but this is a game where shit like this happens.
Yeah! Take that! How do you like me now?
So just don't overthink it. The writers didn't, so why should you? You play as Michael Wilson, the president. The president of what?
The President of the United fucking States of America. Who do you think I was talking about? Who the fuck? Who is it? What? I should kick your fucking ass. Who is this?
Because I'm the president of this great United States of America.
I am the President of the United States of America.
I'm the president of the United States of America.
Oh, my bad. I'm not sure how I could forget something like that. The game is broken up into missions that span from sea to Shining Sea. Each mission will have POWs to save. The more you save, the more money you earn for the rest of the game. There are also energy pods that upgrade the HP of your mech. At the end of each mission, you'll be given a scorecard to tell you how well you did. You can also see if you found all the POWs and energy pods in the level. If you choose to replay a level, you don't need to refine things you've already found. So for instance, if a level has 5 jail cells with POWs in them, and you found 4 of them, when you replay the mission, you only need to find that 1 jail cell. And these suckers can be really well hidden. Sometimes I think they're in bullshit spots, but hey, what can you do? You will probably replay a mission a couple of times, depending if you found everything or not. You don't need to find these things, but I highly recommend you do. Your goal almost always is to destroy all targets. Once in a while it'll have a time limit, but there are ways to gain time back, so it's not too difficult. You also have boss fights in there too. They'll either have their own missions, or be part of the missions that I already mentioned. I do wish there was more variety, and I don't just mean in mission types, I mean in location. The game could do with a couple more missions in other cities in different states. The game starts in DC, which makes sense. You're then forced to flee to California. The map implies that you'll be going from California to New York, slowly taking the country back. You complete 3 whole levels in California, and then 2 in Arizona, and then jump right to Houston, Miami, Chicago, and New York. The pacing's a little weird here. It felt like it would probably take longer to get there. But after a couple missions, you're already on the East Coast. A game about taking back the country, and they skip a large portion of it. No Boston? No Detroit? No Baltimore? No Denver or Aspen? I know the development time of this game was very short, and I don't know if they had crunch time or not with it. But I do think that they could have spent that time not having 3 levels in one state, and maybe dishing it out a little bit to other places. It just could have been fun, you know? These maps are not meant to be one for one with the cities they represent. It's more like a caricature or a cartoon version of that city. So for San Francisco, it's just Chinatown. Chicago, it's those drawbridges. New York is Times Square and also Liberty Island. It is a little weird that there's a bridge here going to Liberty Island. I don't know where the hell this thing connects from or where it goes because no such thing exists in real life. The final level on Earth is inside a Vegas casino. Yes, I said on Earth. Don't ask too many questions.
Mr.
Visually, the most interesting thing in this game is how the weapons are stored in Metal Wolf. They rotate in and out of these shoulder packs. You can manufacture and equip these weapons before the missions. Some you unlock, but most you'll have to research yourself. You research these things with the money and metal you've earned from doing missions. You do have to grind a little bit, but not really. You pick what weapons you wish to use and store them for the left or right hand. Some weapons like sniper rifles need both, so you'll have to take up 2 slots in both left and right hand. If you really like a gun, you can make your loadout nothing but that one gun. Each gun has its own ammo pool, even if it's identical to another one. Frankly, the machine guns are a bit too good. Watch how fast this boss fight goes.
This place. Posing as a hero in an old western is fine, but since you're surrounded now,
You really are the Major. Not Peyton, too.
taking on all 3 at once could be bone-breaking. The enemy with stealth capabilities cannot be.
How's Randy? Damn it. You're the one who taught me to be a soldier. So now I'm the one who's gonna kill you.
One special mobile armor enemy is left.
This battle is major.
All enemy special mobile armor units have been put 6 feet under, Town Marshal.
Normally, what you're supposed to do is destroy these towers around the area so their cloaking device goes down. Then you fight them. But why do that when I could just melt them with these machine guns? See what I mean by them probably being a little too strong? You also get them fairly early in the game. It's not like you have to grind hard to get them. While the game does have a variety of guns, I found I didn't use most of them. 2 pairs of dual miniguns and a pair of bazookas will crush almost anything. You're gonna need money to buy these guns. Most missions you'll probably play about 2 or 3 times depending on how well you did and if you found everything. I used the loadout I liked that I explained just before and played that Phoenix boss fight about 4 or 5 times. It only took 5 minutes, maybe less. That gave me enough money to get to the end of the game. I do recommend finding all the POWs and the pods. The former gains you more money as you play the game, and the later upgrades your health, so there's no net negative to doing this. In short, is there grinding? Yes, but are you really going to notice it? Probably not. Most missions don't take that long, and you could probably clear the entire game in about 8 to 10 hours. And while the game doesn't have a traditional New Game Plus mode, you do unlock something called Hell Mode. Hell Mode is hard mode, made to sound harder than it actually is. You don't need to start a new game to do this either. All you have to do is go to the mission select, pick the mission you want, and instead of picking normal, pick hard. Or hell. You also get the option to play another mode with unlimited ammo. That's just to dick around in, it's not to do anything serious. Beating a level on hard mode will unlock skins for your mech. Most of them look cool, a few look bad. So I've read that hard mode makes the game harder. But really, I didn't feel like it was much harder than it was before. None of the placements have changed either. I just played all these levels over and over again, so I already know where everything is. I could just breeze right through this. This feels like a normal mode. Hell mode. More like, hello, where's my hard mode? For some reason, the game finally decided to be hard. On the last level too. If I'm being fair, the Vegas level before this took me about 3 tries. Till then, I had beat every level on my first try, even the New York City level. A level that on normal mode took me a couple of tries. You think you can outrun or dodge this bullet hell of missiles that it shoots at you, but nope, not really. This son of a bitch took me 2 hours to beat. 2 hours. And the only way I did it was by cheesing it at the end. And I don't even feel bad about cheesing it, because when I look online, at the very few people I can find that played Hell Mode, pretty much every single one has done the same thing. They cheese this last fight. What's somewhat annoying is that this game has no checkpoints, so dying means redoing the whole mission. It was so aggravating knowing that you've done this before, and the only thing stopping you is how slow you move, and how fast the attacks are. It felt like an Armored Core fight if I had no thrusters or did a piss poor job with the balancing of my mech. That would probably be the only other thing I'd really complain about this game. I really do wish you could move faster. I might as well rant about this a little longer just to get out of my system. I really wish you could upgrade the thrusters. They will always be at the same speed no matter what. The fuel tank never gets any larger and you can't add more of them. When you run out of fuel, it takes from your HP. Both will regenerate, but it's just so annoying how careful you have to be about it and how quick it drains. I'm not asking for Armored Core level of customization. The upgrades to the thrusters don't even need to be visual. I just want the option to go faster and to go faster for longer. I know the draw of this game isn't the same thing as Armored Core, so I'll stop bringing it up, I'm sorry. The thing about this game is it's about its personality, and this game is filled with a lot of personality.
I believe in American justice and my journalistic convictions. Because yes, the pen is still mightier than the sword. This has been Peter McDonald for DNN.
Hey, Mr. Journalist! Take a good long look. I think it's time for a new pen.
Metal Wolf's pilot is meaner than Satan himself.
Mr. President, the Alcatraz cannon just started to recharge.
I'm on the move. I'll smash it faster than a Florida recount.
Sir Richard! I'm sorry!
The U.S. Constitution is downright powerless against Metal Wolf's evil.
Jody, who am I? I'm the president. I always make the impossible possible, and I'm gonna keep on doing so. Great, they haven't sold out Hope yet.
Mr. President, I haven't been this happy since that supermarket going out of business sale when I was searching for my favorite candy and I found the last box all covered in dust at the back of the rack. And the expiration date was still good.
I know the feeling, Jody.
FromSoft's Masanori Takuchi said, "It is America as perceived by the Japanese. It's completely fictional, but at the time, it was our idea of this ideology of American culture and comic book heroes. And we pieced that together, and it became the president piloting a mech. We think that when Japanese look at it that way, from the American point of view, it's almost like how they imagine a Japanese ninja, in sort of the same ideologies, the same kind of fantasy, so it goes two ways. You know how many people play a game for its plot, for its rich characters, and for the emotional connection they get? Or how someone can love the gameplay loop of a game so much they've played it for thousands and thousands of hours? I love this game for how odd it is. Not many games are like this. The closest comparison I can think of to a game just being this insane, for the sake of it, is probably God Hand. Maybe Katamari. This game is weird, and it is crazy, so I know not everybody will love it, and really in the end, I don't need everybody to love it. I'm just happy the game exists. I'm happy that we've had our legitimate way to play the game for years now, and I'm also happy that we no longer have to import a Japanese version of the game and a Japanese Xbox. Because when you look at the secondhand market, people are really scalping this game, although that seems to be a case for all games of this time now. It's a wild time, and I love it. And do you know why?
Because I'm the president of this great United States of America.
Have a happy 4th of July, everybody. Take care.